Well, good day to all of our awesome internet and mobile marketing following. Those of you that are particularly taking a very strong look, maybe you've already made the decision to join BitClub Network. I'll refer to it in this training as BCN. Okay, now what I wanted to do, this is T. Lamont Silver Sr., by the way. Everyone calls me T. Lamont. Not showing myself on the screen right now. But in any event, what I wanted to do is I really wanted to go through the BitClub Network pay plan. Now, some of you have taken time out to watch a very comprehensive private webinar that I did with a gentleman by the name of Russ, in which case we covered this towards the end, maybe the last 30 minutes or so towards the end. But I wanted to pull this out and really just go through this in detail, particularly for those of you that are going to build a referral network. Now, even if you don't believe, even if you don't have a big list, I still want you to watch this video because I want you to see just the immense potential power, of this compensation plan. And it's one of the reasons why I'm being so very aggressive in promoting BCN. I am not stopping anything else that I have going on. So if you've got other business interests, continue those. I am simply making sure that I set aside some time and some financial resources for some paid marketing, things of that nature. And ultimately, we'll be doing some training, or at least sending you, getting you access to training for those of you that want to build a list, for those of you that also want to be very aggressive in marketing your BCN business and any other business for that matter, okay? But the purpose of this training is to really help you have a much better understanding of the BitClub Network pay plan. Now, hopefully by now you have taken the time, and I do feel a sneeze coming on. Give me just a moment. Oh, sorry about that, okay? I'll tell you what. Okay, all right. So hopefully by now you have taken the time to go through some training on BitClub Network so you understand what BitClub Network is all about as it relates to mining pools. I'm not going to cover all that here, but it's important that you get that. If not, you may dismiss this as I did. I originally dismissed it because I just thought it was another rehash of maybe a share of revenue plan that would do well for a while but would be doomed ultimately to failure. When I took the time to really investigate and find out that there are hundreds of mining pools out there where people all across the globe are participating in digital currency coin mining, which includes a lot more than Bitcoin, Litecoin, Dogecoin. It's like 400 coins out there. That's what helped me to realize, oh, okay, this is not new. It's just new to me. Okay. Now, with that being said, if you haven't had a chance to go through that training, it's really going to be best for you just to pause this and get to some training so you see that this is the real deal, where the money is coming from, so on and so forth. If you've gone through that training and you're convinced, okay, this is the real deal, the real revenues. This is not some just affiliates making a purchase and then those purchases just changing hands. Then this training is for you. All right, let's go to work here. By the way, this is a preview of the pay plan. It is not from the official BitClub Network site. As I'm doing this, the system hasn't launched just yet. This was some information I was privy to as a leader beginning to build a team of leaders, okay? All right. We're going to pay a lot of attention to something called the the level up infinity bonus. That's going to be a big part of what we're going to talk about. But we're also going to talk about the binary as well. Okay, so give me just a moment. Okay, all right. Let's just discuss this. Most mining pools pay either no or very little referral commissions. One of the biggest mining pools, and we have shown this in a previous video. I'll give you the website, cex.io. You can go and check that out, cex.io. They're one of the bigger mining pools out there. They pay a one-time referral commission of just 3%. They pay a one-time referral commission of just 3%. So if I referred someone to that pool, and let's say John purchased participation in that pool, $10,000 worth of participation, which basically what you're buying when you make any purchase is you're buying computer speed. And then with that other company, you're essentially locking into a contract where they're going to pay you every day for a year. But you're locked into whatever the processing power is as of the time that you made the purchase. That's where BitClub Network is different. I don't have time to cover that. That is covered in that 2.5-hour training that we did with Russ. If you do not have that 2.5-hour training, then if you're connected directly to me, get in touch with me. I'll get it to you. If you're connected with someone else, ask them, and we'll still make sure that you get that training, okay? All right, so most pools pay either no referral commissions or small referral commissions that might be just a one-time commission. What BitClub Network wants to do, they've got a much larger vision than just the mining. Mining is a key part of it, but mining will help with the other parts of their vision. One part of their vision is going to be building a huge network of participants like you and me, affiliates, participants, whatever you want to call us, and then eventually even coming out with their own coin, okay? And so now if all of a sudden there's 1 million of us that have the company's coin, and we're exchanging that between each other. Maybe somebody's got a small business and they're willing to accept, the BCN coin as an example, because all these coins are all U.S. dollars and Euro dollars are. None of that stuff is backed by anything. It's all based on whether or not someone is willing to accept it for the exchange of goods and services. Okay. All right. So now one of the bigger visions is, let's say there's 1 million of us and we're using the coin, let's say the BCN coin at that point, this may be several years down the road, that they're able to go to some large networks of retailers and say, hey, we've got 1 million folks that have this coin. If you will accept this coin within your system, we've got 1 million folks ready to go to start making purchases with the coin. So, for instance, one of the websites that Russ drew our attention to was Shopify.com. So, at your own leisure, go and check them out. Shopify.com. Okay, network of a large number of online retailers. Okay, and obviously, in time, that would give value to the coin. In time, there could even be ATM networks. There's just really no limit to what can happen, but it's got to start with some type of distribution. So because of that, because of the larger vision, and I'm sure I just know just a small, tiny nth of it. Give me just a moment. Let's go back to where we were. Because of that larger vision, what they want to do is they want to really power the mining pools with excitement, and of course, no way to do that than to pay out a lot of money. So here's what they're doing. Okay, a person's going to sign up for BitClub Network for $99. Okay, and that's going to give them access to a lot of training on what cryptocurrencies are all about, and this will also lock your spot in the binary. Okay. Now, you don't start earning just yet, but at least it locks your spot in the binary. So if you particularly are taking a look and you're going to be associated with someone that's on our team, we're going to have a fast-moving binary, okay? You want to at least lock your spot in, even if you don't know all the other stuff, even if you're not ready to make a commitment to make a purchase of any shares. You want to go and lock that spot in. You just never know what that can mean for you, okay? I can't promise what that's going to mean, but just lock your spot in, okay? Let's talk about the binary first and foremost then. All right, and then we're going to get into the level up part. With the binary, what happens is, like any other binary, in order to be qualified, you need to have one person that you've enrolled that is on the left, one person that's on the right. Now, that person that's enrolled needs to be someone that not only did the $99, but in terms of qualifying you in the binary, you can lock in your spot with $99. But to qualify to start earning, you need to have, you need to have participation in one or more of the pools, okay? All right, so you need to have purchased participation in one or more of the pools. You can lock your spot in without purchasing anything in any of the pools. But in order to start earning, you must have participation in a pool, okay? All right, so let's say, there's the $500 pool, the $1,000 pool, the $2,000 pool. Okay, so you refer somebody who falls on your left, you refer somebody who falls on your right. They purchase participation in the pools. You've purchased participation in the pool. Everything I will talk about going forward will be with the assumption that people not only join with the $99, but they've purchased some level of participation in one or more of the pools, okay? All right, now with that being said, what's going to happen, this is very easy, very simple, is for every $500 purchase into a pool, you're going to be given credit for one cell in your binary tree, all right? For every $1,000 purchase in the $1,000 pool, you're going to be given credit for 2 cells in your binary tree. And your binary tree means to an unlimited depth on your left, to your unlimited depth on the right. And for every $2,000 share sold with the $2,000 pool, you're going to be credited for 4 sales, okay? All right, so $500 pool is 1 sale. $1,000 pool, 2 sales. $2,000 pool, 4 sales. All right? All sales, including spillover, down your left and right legs through infinity, count towards your group volume. And so for every 20 sales on your left, for every 20 sales on your right, you're going to be paid $500. Okay? It doesn't matter how long it takes you. Those of you that are going to be builders, many of you will get to the point where you're cycling maybe several times a week, and then ultimately even daily. Now, the binary is not meant to be the biggest winner of the compensation plan. The binary is designed so that you can, depending on whether or not you've got the sales left and right, you can earn on some efforts of all of the people that are in your group, all the people, including if someone happened to spill into your binary, okay? But you can earn on all of that given the production, given the 20 cells on the left, the 20 cells on the right, okay? Now, they're going to cap the amount of times that you can cycle per day to 1. So you can ultimately make $500 a day in the binary. All right, and certainly there are other binary systems where you can make, $25,000 in a week or $100,000 a week or whatever those numbers may happen to be. But remember, the binary is not designed to be the major part of the compensation. The binary is essentially there to supplement the compensation, but at the same time, that supplement could ultimately lead to something like in the neighborhood of, if you got to the point where you were cycling once a day, and you're earning $500 a day in time, obviously over 30 days, that could be an extra $15,000 a month. I'm not going to send that back. Hey, send me the 15 grand, okay? All right. So the binary is pretty simple. Again, you lock in your spot with $99. And then you want to get a share of the pool, of at least one of the pools, okay? You have your folks lock in their spot with $99. If they're not ready for the pool just yet, at least it locks them in. If you're not ready for the pools just yet, at least it locks you in, okay? However, in order to start earning from the binary, you need to have at least a participation in one or more of the pools. And then your left and your right, that first person, second person, or whoever, somebody on your left, someone on your right, needs to have participation in one or more of the pools. And now you're qualified for the binary, okay? Now what's going to happen is if you have sales that exceed your $500 cap, the moment you hit a $500 cap for the day, the system's not going to, from what I understand, is not going to, it's going to stop any new sales from showing up. You know what, let me just stop. Let me stop with that, because I know what he said to me. I don't know that I can explain it the way I need to. But if you watch the 2.5-hour training that I did with Russ, I believe he covered that, okay? Either way, particularly if you're a builder, the binary, look at that as a supplement. Look at that as a supplement, okay? Now, this is where I want to get into. This is where the huge money is going to be. I want to get up into what we call the level up infinity bonus. The level up infinity bonus. And essentially, this is a coded bonus. Remember that when we talk about the level up infinity bonus, that we're going to be talking not only about someone's initial purchase in any of the pools. And remember, what we're purchasing is we're purchasing computer power, essentially, okay, computing power, okay? I personally probably won't use the word share a lot. I'll probably use the word purchase units or units or things of that nature, okay? So when someone makes a purchase into any of the shares, they're purchasing computer power, and as a result, they get to participate in revenue with all the other pool members from the revenues that are generated by mining the digital coins, okay? So now this is what's going to happen. You're going to have your team one, all right? Team one, first team. So if I say first team, I mean team one. If I say team one, I mean first team, okay? That's going to consist of the first 2 people that you sponsor that purchase a mining pool share, okay? Now you might sponsor 4 people and they locked in their spot with the $99, but the system is going to look at the first 2 people that actually purchase a mining pool share. They're going to go into your team 1 bonus plan, your team 1 bonus plan, okay? Now what's going to happen is with those first 2 people, you're going to receive a 15% level up bonus for any initial purchase and any subsequent purchase that they have. Now keep this in mind, that they are going to earn daily for 1,000 days, okay? And let's just make sure we understand this real quickly. Again, this was covered in the training with Russ, but in case you don't remember it, because I know there was a lot of information, okay? So remember that in the $500 pool, there is a, I'm going to say recap, all right? I'm not going to use the word repurchase. I'm going to say the word recap, where you're recapitalizing back in your business. There is an automatic recapitalization of 50%, all right? So whatever your earnings happen to be that day, have no idea what that's going to be. Obviously, it's going to fluctuate from day to day based on a number of variables, including the revenue, obviously. But if you're in the $500 pool, at least 50% will automatically go back to purchase more computing power. The other 50%, you'll have the option as to whether or not you want to say, hey, you know, give me, remember that we will be paid in Bitcoin. Give me my Bitcoin, and then I can convert that Bitcoin into my currency of choice. Or obviously, if you want to recap 100% or 75% or 80% or what have you, that's totally up to you. Now, we'll be doing some other videos down the road about maybe some ideas for you to consider to build up your participation units in your pools based on, you know, the type of income you want to be able to generate from a hands-off nature, okay? All right, so 500, then the $1,000 pool, all right, your automatic recapping is 40%. So that means that you could actually put 60% of your Bitcoin allocation or award that day. This one right here would be 50. You could put 60% obviously in your Bitcoin e-wallet. And then with a $2,000 pool, your automatic recapping is 30%. Okay? So that means that you could put 70% in your Bitcoin e-wallet, all right, and what have you. Again, we'll come back and give you some ideas for strategy, all right? And everybody's strategy is going to be a little bit different based on what your income goals are and things of that nature, okay? All right, so for instance, if someone purchases in the $500 participation in the $500 pool, we know that at least 50% of their daily earnings will go back into recapping, meaning buying more participation in that pool by virtue of buying more computing power. That's another commissionable event. So when someone that you refer purchases one share in any of the pools, we know they're earning for a period of 1,000 days. So we also know that gives you a referral income for the 1,000 days. Okay? So now you're going to earn override income every single day. I cannot stress that enough. If someone purchased participation in the $1,000 pool, then we know at least 40% of their earnings are going to be recapitalized back into that pool, which means, again, you're earning every day. Same thing with the $2,000 pool, okay? All right, so now with that as the backdrop, let's go to work, okay? All right, so the first two people that you refer that purchase a share or a participation unit in any of the pools, you get a 15% level up bonus, all right? Now, I'm going to use as an example, I'm going to use a $10,000 example only for nice round numbers, all right? Doesn't mean you or they have to purchase 10,000. I do believe that in time there will be a lot of people purchasing 10,000 or more as they get started. However, I will always say, as I've always said, raise your right hand and agree not to purchase more participation than what you can comfortably afford. Don't want you getting into debt, don't want you hurting your family, okay? All right, so I'm gonna use this just as nice round numbers, so 15,000. By the way, 10,000. How do you purchase $10,000 worth if you've got a pool that's a $500 participation, one that's a $1,000 participation, one that's a $2,000 participation? Well, what would probably happen is that somebody would purchase one 500, one 1,000, and maybe multiple of the 2,000s, okay, as an example. All right, so let's just assume $10,000 here could be obviously the minimum is 500, okay? So though I'm going to use this example for nice round numbers, understand that you don't have to have a $10,000 purchase. So what's going to happen here is with your first two, you're going to get a 15% commission or $1,500. $1,500. Now remember that $1,500 is not paid in US dollars, it's paid in Bitcoin. So based on what the Bitcoin value is, you'll get the $1,500 worth of Bitcoin, okay? So if Bitcoin is going at $500 a coin, you're going to earn 3 coins, right? If Bitcoin is going at $300 a coin, you're going to earn 5 coins, okay? Whatever Bitcoin is going at that particular time. All right, so $1,500 in this example. All right, I'll say dollars, but just know that your commissions are going to be in Bitcoin. Now, in this example, if you only had participation in, let's say, the $500 pool, but you referred someone who participated also in the $1,000 and the $2,000 pool, okay, you won't be able to request those commissions and say, hey, of the 1,000 and the 2,000 pools, you won't be able to say, hey, give me those commissions. What will happen though is you will earn Bitcoin that will then go to purchase participation in the $1,000 pool and the $2,000 pool in my example. All right. Now it might be a fractional unit because maybe you don't have enough commissions to cover a whole unit, but you would still earn at least fractional units, and those fractional units would begin earning as well. All right, so you might not get the commission, but at least you get the credit and you get the fractional units, okay? That's why everyone that's watching this, you need to at least find a way to purchase some type of participation in one or more of the pools, because you could refer someone that could really see this, they have the resources, not hurting their family, and they can make some large purchases. All right, so those first two, you're going to get a 15% level up bonus, okay? Now, starting with your third referral, your third, your fourth, and your fifth, your third, your fourth, and your fifth, that's going to start team number 2. Now, I may say your second team, I may say team 2. If I say second team or team 2, we mean the same thing, okay? All right, this is going to start with your third, fourth, and fifth when they make a purchase of a unit in one or more of the mining pools, all right? So let's say John is your third. All right, I'll tell you what, let's do this. Give me a moment. Okay, so let's say that, let's actually say that John is your first referral that purchases computer power, okay? And I'm saying all of this, you know, I don't know all the jargon that can and can't be said, but, you know, as much as I know to be in compliant, I want to make sure that I am, okay? And let's say Mary is your second referral. I won't print out all the other stuff. She purchases computer power, all right, which is basically participation in the pool. All right, so you're going to earn 15% off of John's purchase and any subsequent recapitalization, which is additional purchases of computer power. And you're going to earn 15% from Mary's, okay? They're in your team 1, okay? So now let's say you've got Paula, you've got Rodney, and you've got Maria, okay? Paula's your third referral, Rodney's your fourth, Maria's your fifth, okay? Now, when they make purchases in the same what have you, okay, you now are going to make a 20% level up bonus. Now, that's not retroactive to the first two. The first two, you get 15%. Your third, your fourth, your fifth, you now get 20%. You now get 20% with their personal purchases, okay? And again, that could be huge because if one of them, let's say, purchases $10,000 now or $10,000 over time with the daily recapitalization, if you will, and you're getting a 20%, you know, that's $2,000, okay? Obviously in Bitcoin. All right, now, the other thing that happens is that your third, fourth, and fifth referrals, assuming they start to build a referral network, okay, they're going to refer their first two. On their first two, they get the 15%, okay? You're getting the difference between your 20% commissioning level and their 15% commissioning level, or you're getting 5%. So what's happening here is that in this case with Paula, Rodney, and Maria, okay, you get 5% on their first two, okay? 5% on Rodney's first two, 5% on Maria's first two. But it doesn't stop there because this is a coded situation. So let's say Paula's first two, let's give them names. Let's say Paula refers Jean and Louise, okay? Well, on Jean's initial and then subsequent purchases and recapitalization, on Louise's initial and subsequent recapitalization, you're going to get 5%. 5%. But it doesn't stop there. Jean's first two. Louise's first two. All right? And it doesn't stop there. Louise's first two. And Jean's first two. Through infinity. No unlimited depth there. I'm sorry, no limited depth. Unlimited depth on their first two, and their first two, and their first two, and their first two. Same thing with Rodney, because he's in your second team here. All right, you get 5%. You're going to get your 20% when Rodney makes his purchases. You're going to get 5% with the purchases of his first two. and their first two, and their first two, and their first two, and their first two, so on and so forth. Same thing with Maria. And so this makes up your second team. This makes up your second team, okay? So let's just look at that again. Make sure you understand this. This is why this is going to be so huge for those of you that will dare refer people, okay? You don't have to. You can just participate with your daily earnings. But I'm going to tell you, it would be well worth your while to consider or to get this video out or what have you. Any videos that we do, get them out, post them to Facebook, so on and so forth, okay? Twitter, tweet them, send them out to your email list if you have one, so on and so forth, okay? All right, so you will receive 5% level up bonus on all of their first two personally sponsored and all of their first two personally sponsored and so on through infinity on all of their unit purchases, even if it's a partial purchase. So, the day's going to come when somebody's going to be earning, let's say $100 a day. All right, keep these numbers kind of small. $100 a day, in their Bitcoin award. What this would be in terms of Bitcoin, point whatever of a Bitcoin, but let's say it equals $100 a day. All right, so now you're getting 5% level up bonuses. Excuse me, that's wrong. Times 5%. I still did something wrong. Times 5%. For some reason, it's not doing the percentage, so we'll just do this. Times 0.05. All right, $5 a day. Well, you say, well, what's the big deal? $5 a day. Well, here's the big deal. The big deal is that's happening. Let's say if that's happening every day, there's going to be more or less, depending on what the day's rewards are going to be. And if you've watched it 2.5 hours, you understand some of the variables. That's $150, let's say monthly, and nobody's on auto ship. I want to make sure we understand that, okay? That is huge. That's huge, because what if all of a sudden you've got one of those first two or their first two or their first two that's at $1,000 on average that they are using to recapitalize. We know that a percentage has to go back to recapitalize anyway. They might be opting to do more than that to build up their pool participation early on. Now all of a sudden, 5% there is $50 a day. Okay, now you're talking $1,500 a month. All right, so their first two and their first two and their first two. Again, this could get big. What if the collective of all of their first two and their first two and their first two and their first two winds up in time being $10,000 a day? And in terms of what they are recapping collectively, all right, because this could be thousands of people. All right, remember this was your third, fourth, and fifth, and then their first two. And then their first two, and then their first two, and then their first two, and their first two. So, that could be huge. That could be absolutely huge, all right? So now, your third team, or team number 3, starts with your 6th, your 7th, and your 8th, okay? So whoever those folks are, let's give them some names, okay? Let's call one Willie. Let's call one Jill, and let's call one, this is for my very dear buddy, Uncle Rue. Let's call one Rufus, okay? All right, so this is Willie is your 6th, Jill's your 7th, Rufus is your 8th referral, okay? So now what's going to happen is you're going to be bumped up to 25% on their personal purchases and recapping. 25% on their personal purchases and recapping, okay? On all of the purchases, even if it's a partial unit purchase, okay? Then you are going to receive a 10% level up bonus on all of their first two, and their first two, and first two. So remember before, when you were at your second team, you were getting a 5% bonus on their first two and first two and first two. Now you're getting a 10% bonus. Now you're getting a 10% bonus. Now think of that. So in your Second team, you're getting a 5% bonus on their first two and first two and first two and the first two. Then with your third team, you're getting a 10% bonus on their first two and first two and first two. So in your third team, your sixth, your seventh, and your eighth referrals, you're getting a 25%, personal bonus, all right, as they make purchases and recap. And then you're getting a 10% on their first two and their first two and their first two and their first two and their first two. Now, this could be really crazy because think about this. You know, let's say that your either Willie or Jill or Rufus, or maybe the combination of them, let's say that they do $10,000, maybe as one person doing the purchase, maybe collectively, okay? And you're getting now 25%. Or $2,500. Now, again, that $2,500 is paid in Bitcoin, all right? You can, obviously, if you want to withdraw that Bitcoin to your own Bitcoin e-wallet, convert it to your currency as cash, you are free to do that. If you want to purchase more participation yourself, I will tell you as a leader, one of the things that I will do is when I earn these types of referral commissions, I'm going to leave some in my e-wallet, even before I transfer it over to a Bitcoin e-wallet. I'll leave some in my e-wallet, and there's going to be like a credit balance so that I can assist people that are looking to get started. They want to get started sooner rather than later. It takes a few days to get your e-wallet completely set up, for instance, and move funds over to your e-wallet for the purposes of purchasing Bitcoin. So if you're a leader, one of the things you might want to do is just kind of maybe have some reserve that you keep in your BitClub Network e-wallet, so that, let's say if somebody's coming aboard, you know, they're doing the $99 and they want to purchase one share, as an example, for $500. All right, so let's say that's $600. I could say, okay, well, here's a way you can get me $600, and just as soon as I know that you got, you know, the $600, I will transfer funds from my BitClub Network e-wallet into, you know, getting your $99 set up and getting your initial share of the 500, as an example, okay? All right, my point is, this could be huge, okay? But what could be huger is you're getting the 25%. You're getting the 25% from your 6th, 7th, and 8th daily. Okay? Every single day as they are recapitalizing. Remember, there's a minimum amount of recapitalization anyway. Many people will do more than that minimum early on because they want to increase their level of participation until they get to the point where they're making enough money for it to really make a difference in their life, okay? All right, that's huge, but then you're getting a 10% override on their first two, and their first two, and their first two, and so on, okay? 10%. That could be huge. Because obviously, you know, what if collectively between their first two and their first two and their first two and their first two, so on and so forth, there's $10,000 a day in time going back in recapitalization, all right? You know, and you're getting 10%, all right? Think of that. Think about the power of that. You know, I'll start off with a smaller. Let's say it's $1,000 a day in recapitalization, okay, and you're getting 10%, $100 a day. That's $3,000 a month right there, okay? And it won't take a lot of people having interest in the pools to generate collectively them recapitalizing at what would be $100 a day. That won't take a lot, all right? And so you can see very quickly in time, you can, you know, that would be a nice extra. And again, you know, we'll come back and we'll give you some ideas, some strategies in terms of building up your participation, as well as balancing that with actually, you know, you having cash flow, converting back to your Bitcoin e-wallet, and then from your e-wallet back into your currency for cash, okay? All right. Now, we're not finished here, okay? So you're going to get a level up bonus of 10% on the first two of your 6th, 7th, and 8th, okay? But it doesn't stop there. You're also going to get a 5% bonus on the 3rd, 4th, and 5th of those people that made up your third team. So in this example, okay, let's go back, okay? Who made up your third team? Willie, Jill, and Rufus, okay? So Willie refers his first two. When I say refers, I'm saying they joined, they purchased participation in the pool, okay? So he refers his first two. Willie gets 15%, okay, on those first two, all right? You get 10% of their purchases and subsequent recapitalization, okay? Now, when Willie, and then obviously their people's first two, and their people's first two, and their people's first two, and their people's first two, so on and so forth. Now, when Willie refers his third, his 3rd, 4th, and 5th, okay, Willie gets 20%. You pick up 5. See, remember, he's in your third team, right? And you're at 25%. When he gets to his second team, he starts at 20%. His second team is actually a part of the level up structure in your third team, meaning his 3rd, 4th, and 5th, his 3rd, 4th, and 5th, his 3rd, 4th, and 5th, you're going to get 5%. So now you're earning 25% when Willie makes a purchase. You're earning 10% when Willie's first two, and their 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 first two make purchases. And you are now earning 5% when Willie refers his 3rd, 4th, and 5th, and their 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 3rd, 4th, and 5th, so on and so forth, okay? Now, when I first saw this, I said, oh my gosh, this is so much money, this can't be right. But when you really understand the numbers, you'll understand, well, we'll end up with you understanding the numbers. And again, when you understand a little bit of the bigger picture. See, the big picture is to have such a lucrative upfront referral side that it grows the participation in the pools significantly, because people are excited. Leaders like me are excited, and we're getting the word out and helping even our Joe and Susie averages, if they want to learn how to get the word out, and helping them get the word out, so that we get 1 million participants or more, or whatever the numbers happen to be, and then they're able to start to execute other parts of the plan, like going to a Shopify or some other site like it, developing their own coin. We have a coin that we exchange. I mean, think about, let's say if you've got a mom and pop shop, all right, or maybe you have an info product, okay? Maybe you're selling an info product online, and you accept PayPal, you accept credit card, and you accept BCN coin, as an example, okay? So that, you know, even within so we're building this large community of people that may eventually even trade BCN coin amongst each other until it becomes bigger in the marketplace, all right? Okay, so I hope now you're starting to see, wait a minute. I've been a part of models where if I referred someone, I got a 10% commission. If they refer someone, maybe I got a 5% commission, and maybe I made some really good money doing that. You're saying right now, when I get to the third team, right now, I'm up to 25% with those 6th, 7th, and 8th, and then I'm getting a 10% on their first two, and then I'm getting 5% on their first 3, 4, 5, their first 3, 4, 5, their first 3, 4, 5, okay? All right, even if it's partial purchases. So, and remember, this is not just initial, this is every day. All right, now let's go to team number 4, okay? Now, Team number 4 is going to be for those of you that are bigger leaders, obviously, because it's going to be starting off with your 9th referral. But starting off with your 9th referral, look at what happens here, okay? You're going to bump up to the max, which is 27.5%. So your 9th referral on, your 9th referral on, your 9th, your 91st, your 172nd. And some of you, I just got a Skype as I'm doing this today. I just got a Skype from someone who told me that the person they're bringing on is probably going to have 300 to 400 personals getting started, coming out the gate, okay? So that person who has maybe 300 personals, he'll refer his first 8, and then his, the other 292 that he might be referring, assuming he refers 300 personally, are going to be a part of his 4th team. Okay, all right, so here's your 4th team. The 9th person on that you personally enroll that purchases a mining pool share will fall into your 4th team. You're going to make 27.5%, okay? Level up bonus on all the purchases, even if it's a partial purchase, okay? You're also going to receive 12.5% from their first 2, okay? 12.5% from their first 2. 12.5% from their first 2, okay? And then you're going to get 7.5% from their 3rd, 4th, and 5th. All right, so remember what we showed before is you're getting 27.5% on their personal purchases, your 9th, 10th, 11th, 172nd person. You're getting 12.5% on their first 2 and 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 their first 2. That could be thousands of people in time. That could represent thousands of dollars, tens of thousands of dollars in recapping on a daily basis. All right, just think about this. All right, and we've seen this happen before. If it's just $1,000 a day in recapping, and you were earning 12.5% a day, that's $125 a day. Okay, if you average that a day, $3,750. And of course, there's going to be variables, obviously. Okay, but my whole point is, look at what that could mean in terms of referral income. What happens when it's 10,000? Look, you see why I'm being very aggressive in promoting this, okay? See why I'm being, and that's their first 2 and 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 their first 2, okay? All right? Okay. Then on their 3rd, 4th, and 5th, all right? So let's just put a name to this. All right, so let's say you referred Heather, all right, and she's your 9th referral, okay? So you've got 27.5 when she makes a purchase with her first 2, and their first 2, and their first 2, and their first 2, you're talking 12.5, okay? On her 3rd through 5th, and their 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 3rd through 5th, you are at 7.5. Okay? All right? And then with her 6th, 7th, and 8th, and their 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 6th, 7th, and 8th, you're at 2.5. Okay, and then, all right, so hopefully you're seeing this, okay? So builders, those of you that you can personally refer 9 or more, pay very close attention, okay? With your 9th on, essentially, anyone that you personally enroll with your 9th on, their first, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th referrals, when any of those 1st through 8 referrals refer anyone, you're getting level up bonuses. And when any one of their 1 through 8 refer anyone, you're getting level up bonuses. And when any of their 1 through 8 refer anyone, you're getting level up bonuses. Okay? That will be for builders. That would be thousands of people that could represent tens of thousands, maybe in time even hundreds of thousands of dollars daily. And remember, these pools, this is not new. It's just new to most of us. Okay. Now, there's also a Team 4 bonus. When anyone that you sponsor into your fourth team gets to their fourth team, okay? So that means that they've personally enrolled 9, 10, 11, 17, what have you. You will still receive a 2.5% level up bonus on all of their personally sponsored level 4 share purchases, okay? So basically, anyone that you personally enroll, let's say you get to a Team 4, and now you've got someone that you've enrolled in your Team 4, okay? That's the key. They're in your Team 4. So you get to Team 4, you enroll someone that's in your Team 4, they eventually get to their Team 4, okay? So they're getting now, starting their Team 4, they're getting their maximum 27.5 and the 12.5 level up and the 7.5 level up and the 2.5% level up. Guess what? You still receive 2.5 level up bonus on all of those people's first date to infinity. Okay? Ladies and gentlemen, this is the most incredible payout for building a referral structure that I've ever seen. And again, you know, we've seen what happens when you get 10% or when you get 5% or 3% or what have you. Now, when I first got this document, I first started going through it, I said, there's no way, okay? But that's because I didn't understand all of the money that's being made in the mining pool. So you understand that, and Russ explained this in his video that we did, but understand that there are billions that are going to be made in coin mining, with or without us, with or without a Bitcoin network, okay? All right, and we've already shown, if you go to WCEX.io, all right, we've already shown in a previous video where there was over 445,000 Bitcoins that had been mined, and that's not to mention, they're primarily focusing on Bitcoins and Litecoins, but there's over 400 other coins, all right? BitClub Network primarily will not be mining Bitcoin because Bitcoin is not the most profitable coin to mine. However, the coins that it will mine that are more profitable to mine than Bitcoin can be converted easily to Bitcoin, which they'll be doing, and then we'll be paid in Bitcoin. And then obviously we'll have the option to move that over to our Bitcoin e-wallet for either keeping in Bitcoin or converting into whatever your currency happens to be. So with the example that we showed earlier was 444,000. This is one pool, by the way. They've generated 444,000 coin. And at the time that we were looking at it, Bitcoin was going for about $510 a coin. So if you did the numbers on that, that's about 226 million that just that one mining operation, and there are hundreds out there, has generated in terms of coin, in terms of worth of coin, based on that $510 per coin figure. Okay, of course that number fluctuates. Okay, all right. So I think we're just about finished here. Let's see here. All right, there are 3 levels of mining pools. There's a $500 pool, there's a $1,000 pool, there's a $2,000 pool, okay? For those of you that have the resources, and only if you have the resources, I would strongly recommend that you purchase a share of the 500 and the 1,000 and the 2,000. Now, some of you have even more resources than that, so I would have you to purchase a share of the 500 and the 1,000, and if you've got more, then that comes up to be 3,500 for a share in each. Then let's say if you had 10,000, okay, a $500 purchase, for that pool, $1,000 purchase for that pool, $2,000 for this pool, that $3,500. That leaves you $6,500 left. I'd purchase 3 more in the $2,000 pool, and then pick up 1 more in the $500 pool. Okay, and the reason I'm saying that is if you have the wherewithal, and again, it's not going to hurt your family or anything like that. The one thing about having shares in the higher pools is that does allow you to get more access from your daily earnings. You know, for instance, here you got an automatic 50% recapitalization. Here you've got an automatic 40% recapitalization. Here you've got an automatic 2,000. You've got an automatic 30% recapitalization. So for instance, if you're wanting to start converting into your Bitcoin e-wallet sooner, or like in my case, what I'm going to want to do early on is I'm going to want to have, you know, as much participation as I can in the $2,000 pools. So I actually have access to more of my earnings early on, so that I can then leverage those earnings to help people that are looking to get started. You know, maybe someone sends me, you know, $600, and now I've got, you know, enough Bitcoin there to at least get them started, all right, until they're able to set up all their e-wallets and things of that nature, okay? So those are things just to consider, okay? I think I did want to cover this. All right. So what happens, we covered this with Russ's video, but in case you don't remember it, because there's a lot of information there. What happens if all you can do is purchase participation in the $500 pool? That's all you got the resources for. Okay, got it. But then you refer someone that purchases participation in the $1,000 pool and the $2,000 pool along with the 500. What happens? Okay, what would happen is, since you have participation, a full unit, a full share in the 500, then whatever your commission rate is, if it's 15%, if it's 20%, if it's 25%, if it's 27.5%, depending on where you're qualified in the team structure, you would earn that in Bitcoin, okay? And then obviously you could make a decision as to whether or not you want to recap with that, or some of that, or all of that, or if you want to simply set it aside to help someone else, or if you want to, you know, send it to your personal Bitcoin e-wallet so that you can convert it into your currency, okay? But what happens when that person that you referred made a $1,000 purchase and you aren't yet in that pool, or they made a $2,000 purchase and you are not yet in that pool? Well, what happens is you don't get the commission that you could take out, but the amount of commission that you would earn, that you would have earned, will go to purchase units in that pool, even if they're fractional. So let's give an example. All right, let's say you're at team 1, 15%. You don't have the resources to purchase anything other than the participation in the first pool, okay? And so now you bring on someone and they do participation in the first pool, so 500. All right, you get 15%. All right, that'd be $75 worth of Bitcoin that's going to be paid out to you, okay? Let's say they purchase the $1,000, purchase a participation in the $1,000 pool. All right, you're not qualified for that yet because you're not in there. Your commission rate is 15% or 150. So what would happen is this 150, you can't say, hey, give me the money, but this 150 would go to purchase a fractional unit in this $1,000 pool, and it would begin earning. Okay, let me say that again. You wouldn't get the commission, but the commission would be paid essentially to gain you some participation in the $1,000 pool. Now, ultimately, in order to get, from what I understand, I could be wrong on this, but from what I understand, in order for you to get the full commissioning, you would need to have a full share. So obviously 150 is not a full share. You know, it's a fractional share, but the fractional share would at least begin earning on a daily basis. Okay, Same thing would happen with the 2000. Same thing would happen with the 2000. Same thing would happen with the 2000. In this example, so 2000 at 15% is 300. All right, if you were not in the $2,000 pool because you didn't have the resources, all right, that $300 would essentially be credited to you getting fractional units within the $2,000 pool. That would begin earning, and then once you've reached a full share in the $2,000 pool, then you'd be able to get the commissioning when someone does the $2,000 pool, okay? What that also means is that if you've got somebody that's earning from the $2,000 pool daily, then your override for having been their sponsor or any of the level ups would also go to purchase fractional shares until such time that you have participation, a full unit, okay? All right, so that to me, when I saw that, that was extremely fair. What most companies would have done is that just would have been breakage to the company, but you've got to remember there's a much larger master plan here at work than just the mining operation. The mining operation is key, and it will build the foundation for everything else that they will look to do within the cryptocurrency world. And remember also this as we start to round third, this whole world of cryptocurrencies, we're in the infancy. Let's really take advantage of this, all right? Now, we're going to have naysayers. All right, I'm going to tell you that right now. I've already seen one of my blog buddies out there who, likes to naysay. He likes to naysay on everything. He's already got the naysaying going on and what have you. Don't let that distract you, all right? Where things are going, cryptocurrencies, Bitcoins, the other type coins, they're here to stay, ladies and gentlemen. They're here to stay. They're not going anywhere. Let's leverage this. Let's really position our families, position ourselves to capitalize as much on this while it's really still in its infancy, so that when the masses really come, you already have a large network, and they may not be joining you personally per se, but they may be joining your team, and they may be somebody's level up, first 2 or first 3, 4, and 5, or first 8, so on and so forth, where you're getting, benefit from what they're doing, okay? All right, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, hopefully this gives you a better understanding of the compensation plan. We love each and every one of you. Let's change the world together, starting with yours.